Hey, what's happening, everybody? It's your old pal Mr. Butter coming back at you. It has been a really rainy week, but it looks like it's finally dry enough that I can make this review for y'all. This is probably my biggest W of the year so far. It might end up being my biggest W in 2023, but I love this pair. If you're into kicks and you feel like hanging out, then hit that subscribe button. Let's take a look at this three-way collab between CLOT, Fragment, and the Nike Dunk. I'm not sure where all these dropped. I only went for these on sneakers. I didn't really see a whole lot of raffles or anything for them. I was really surprised the day of the drop because a lot of people started saying that numbers came out and the numbers were way lower than what was anticipated. I think I saw somewhere between 3,000 and 4,000 pairs on sneakers, which I don't know if that's accurate or not, but that's not many pairs at all, especially given the fact that whenever I go for Travis Scott's and shoes like that, there's way more pairs, and I always take L's on those shoes. I was pretty much assuming that I would definitely take an L on these, but I'm really pumped that I was able to hit a pair. Immediately after seeing these, I realized these are one of my favorite dunks in my collection. The box has the standard Nike font on it, but it is pretty unique because it's got this white base with the black Nike branding, but then in the background you can see that it's got all this real faint print, and that's also the pattern that we will see on the shoes as well. I think we've seen this pattern quite often with CLOT, but one thing that I thought was unique is every now and then you'll see the CLOT emblem within the pattern, and it's real faint, so you might not be able to see it. But then you'll also see that along with the CLOT emblem is the number 20. And that's because these shoes were made to commemorate the 20th anniversary of CLOT, which is a streetwear company, but they started in 2003. Obviously, it's 2023. It's their 20th birthday. Edison, who is the founder of CLOT, is also very close friends with the founder of Fragment, and I'll probably get his name wrong. I think it's Hiroshi. I believe that's his name, but I shouldn't even get into that. I might even cut all that out because I'm not trying to act like I know everything about it, but they're really good friends. I think it's really neat that both labels, both friends came together with Nike to celebrate the 20-year anniversary of CLOT. The tag reads Nike Dunk Low SP. The colors are white, black. I went for a 10.5. If I would have realized that I was entered for a 10.5, I probably would have switched it to a 10, but in hindsight, I'm not mad at all. I typically do go true to size on Dunk Lows, which is a size 10, but by default in my sneakers account, I have it at a 10.5 now because a lot of shoes have been rubbing my fat feet lately. These went for a retail of 150 US. They're pretty expensive on the resale market, and I think that's just because the shoe is very rare, and also I think they were executed beautifully, but we'll get into that some more. One other note about the packaging: the same pattern that you see faintly there on the white sections of the box, you also see that on the tissue paper as well. Hopefully that's coming through, but if not, take my word for it. All right, but enough of my rambling about these shoes. Check them out. I think these are just about as good as it gets. Now, this is not a pair of kicks that I will just throw on and wear as a beater like most of my Dunk Lows are. Most of the time I just throw them on and I don't really give it any second thought. To me, this is a shoe that you could like get married in. Like, I think these look so high end. They just look very elevated. I don't think I've ever had a dunk that looked as dressy as what these do. Maybe that makes sense, maybe it doesn't, but I feel like this is a pair that you would wear to like a wedding or to some sort of big time event. You know, if you were on the red carpet or something, I think these would just fit in quite well. And along with that, this overlay with all this cool pattern on it is a tearaway material, and I just can't imagine willingly tearing that off of there. Now, I could see if you wore them and they started to get dingy on some of the panels and some of the overlays, I could see maybe cutting them off then. But right now, these things just look so pristine that I just wouldn't want to change anything about them. Along with that, underneath, there's really not that much detail. And if you catch them in just the right light, you can see that there's little emblems. I think down here is one, then up here near the collar is another one. The swooshes are a black color underneath of that fabric, but then the rest of the shoes are just white underneath of the fabric. And they're definitely cool looking. A lot of times there's a lot to be said for like simplicity, but I've got plenty of just plain white and black shoes. I don't have anything that looks like this. The material on all these overlays, like the tearaway material, I always saw it described as silk, but it seems to me that it's more of like a jacquard. And I don't even know if I'm saying that right, but I'm talking about the fabric. I think it's from France, and I think you can see it in furniture, clothing, that sort of thing, but it really looks more like that kind of fabric to me than an actual silk. Sometimes I've seen shoes that have tearaway material on the outside of them, and they kind of look sloppy. Like you can tell that that material isn't up against the base material very well, like air gets between it and it makes a lot of bubbles, and it just kind of gives it like a real wavy appearance. But these don't look like they're hiding anything underneath at all. Like the way these came out, they just look so clean and so well done. You would never guess that this outer layer is meant to be torn off if you want to, if you didn't already know it. Like if I didn't know this was tearaway, I would just think that this is how the shoes are supposed to look indefinitely, if that makes any sense. But I really love this material. It really does look high-end. It looks like something that a king would wear or something like that, and I can get down with that. I like being fancy every now and then. There on the heel tabs, you can see some of that dual branding between CLOT and Fragment, and even that detail I think looks really sharp. Another thing I really like about these is just how it's black, just going up the center of that. I just think that's really, really neat looking. They just came out so well. I think this is an instant classic. And before I forget to mention, they did come with some flat black laces already in the shoe, but we did get a spare of some flat blue laces, and it looks like there's little specks of black going through those as well. I saw pictures with the blue laces in, and maybe I'll throw in a screenshot. But I think that takes it to the next level. I think these blue laces really, really look good in here. It's a standard dunk low tread pattern. There's no other branding aside from the Nike there at the midfoot. You don't see anything that says CLOT or Fragment on the outsole. I love this milky, foggy, opaque, translucent material that we got. It's not really icy, you know, it's kind of foggy looking, but it's really got like a milky color to it, a creamy look to it, and I think it looks awesome on here. I think it goes with the rest of the shoe really, really well. Obviously, we've got the pivot point in the front, Nike branding there at the midfoot. It looks like it would glow in the dark, but I don't think it glows in the dark. I haven't checked, but I don't think it is glow in the dark material. But then coming up to the midsole, you can see that this same translucent opaque material continues from the outsole up to the midsole. And then I also noticed that this stitching in the midsole area, it's got that same kind of shine or shimmer that this material on the upper has. And again, I just think little touches like that make it look so classy. As far as QC goes, I think Nike got these right, and I'm glad they did, because I feel like this is a special release. Then as we get up to the upper, this is definitely my favorite detail of the shoe. And like I said, I can't imagine cutting this material away just because I think it's so pretty looking. And I don't know, maybe it's silly to call a shoe pretty, but I just think these are beautiful, and I'm really, really pumped to have these in the collection. Maybe I'll put a picture up of what it looks like to have this outer layer removed. Here with the light hitting it, I think I can see the fragment. It's kind of like a lightning bolt or something, but I can see a little emblem back here, and that's just in a black color. And then, like I said, underneath the swoosh is black. The majority of the upper is just a white leather under there. You all let me know, would you cut these or would you leave them as is? Obviously, every panel has this cool overlay pattern material on it, and it does have a little bit of a shine. It almost looks like it's a silver color to me, but I just love the way that it kind of lights up whenever the sun hits it just the right way. And I love the detail of this pattern that we have. I'm holding the right shoe, and like I said before, this one has Fragment branding up there on the heel tab, and on the left shoe it says CLOT. On the insole of the left shoe, you can see some CLOT and Fragment branding along with the 20, and obviously this does commemorate the 20-year anniversary of CLOT. On this right insole, we just have some plain Jane Nike branding down on there. Another detail that I really like is just how this nice dark jet black runs down the center of the shoe. I really think it's unique, and it's just a really clean look. These things just look classy to me, but I really like the black going down the center. You can see on the eye stays we have a black leather, and it's got a little bit of like a tumbled effect on there. Nothing too over the top, but it definitely has a little bit of a texture there on the eye stays. And then for the tongue, it just feels like a standard nylon tongue like we usually get in Nike Dunks, but it's in a black color and has black piping going along the edges. The tag on the top is black, and it's got some white Nike branding on there as well. Another touch that really elevates these shoes is the fact that the sock liner is a black leather. I don't know if this is a synthetic or a genuine material, but it's got a nice feel to it. It feels soft, and I really like that material. But that was a pretty quick look at these. I really think they're amazing looking shoes. These are staying in the collection for a while. I don't know when I'll throw them on feet, but it's going to be a special occasion whenever I break them out. I think these are worth hanging on to until I have like something big to celebrate, and these will definitely go on feet at that point. But I love the way these came out. I love when every now and then you just get lucky and you hit on a big one. I'm definitely familiar with the feeling of missing out on all the big releases. I think these are beautiful. This is my favorite dunk to release this year. I put up a poll when most people are feeling the Jaritos more than what they're feeling these. I don't know if it's just because it's an SB. For some reason, everybody's in love with those Jarito SBs. That's fine with me, because that doesn't really change my opinion of what I like. I think these are beautiful. I'm a huge fan of these. I'm really pumped to have them in the collection. I'm interested in knowing if you would cut this fabric off the outside or if you would leave them as is for a while. And also let me know if you'd go with the black laces that came in it or if you'd throw those blue ones in. Thank you so much for watching. I'll catch y'all on the next one. I'm out.